We will try and stay ahead of the game for you as we spring into action. It wouldn't be a complete Coach O interview if he didn't put an exclamation point on it. We will feed you all the best stuff as we cross over from sport to sport. Look at the determination on that young man's face. It's young-tastic. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. I know that young man.
He's
a good kid.
I'm rather familiar with
Yes.
him. And he finally made his varsity debut on CTN, and it was not what he and I had hoped for, but that's okay. Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
You do.
We will get to that right away. A lot of stuff to talk about this week as teams getting ready. We got a playoff game already over.
It's crazy how fast seasons go, and we talk about it all the time, but they never seem to go slowly. They always seem to just go so quickly.
Well, we start with the boys hockey team. They will wrap up their regular season schedule this week after playing 4 games in 5 days last week. Cardinals' sprint to the finish started with a trip to Centennial on Tuesday. Cougars were a game below 500, but they'd lost a lot of close games. They took control of this one from the opening puck drop and skated to their most dominant victory of the season. Centennial starts the scoring in the opening minute. A.J. Carls races to the near corner, finds Isaac Ankrum alone at the back door. He fires a wrist shot top shelf. Cougars are on the board. Less than a minute later, Jake Pearson. The shot, Wise makes the save, but Josh O'Hara right there, third attempt, gets in the net. Centennial up 2 less than 90 seconds in. Cougars add to the lead on the power play. Henry Bartle walking in for the score. They chase Connor out of the crease with a 4-0 lead less than 5 minutes into the game. The barrage continues after the keeper change. A.J. Carls able to beat Yund 5-hole. A.J. was all conference for the Cardinals last year as a freshman. He has 5 points against his former team. Coon Rapids held to just a single shot in the first period. They do get a couple opportunities in the second. Ethan Hansen with a chance out front. Then it's a breakaway chance for Alex Billy. Doesn't really get to the shot that he wants, but at least he makes the keeper work for his shutout. Cougars getting all of the bounces in this game, too. Short-handed 3-on-1. A.J. leaves for Mason Wistersill. He risks it over the net. It bounces off the top of the net. And Tommy Carl's there to bat it home right behind Aaron's back. Probably would have gone off of Aaron's back into the net anyhow. But, that was just the way it went. It's 14-0 final. And it was just a one-sided affair.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. There's no question about that. But and I thought for sure too, it shows what Centennial. They're a pretty good team, and their record really doesn't indicate, I don't think, how good that they are. They were just coming in, I think, a game under 500 when we did that game, and so. But
they're a team catching stride, but. Once they had those first couple of goals real early, real easy to see how the Cardinals sank back on their heels and watched them play hockey.
It's tough to play like that from behind. It was 7-0 after the first period, and how do you regroup from that?
Well, on Wednesday night, the Cardinals on the road to take on the Highlanders from St. Paul Highland Park, and this game was a game right until the final 6.5 minutes when the officiating was a little bit suspect. Notice the power plays. None for the Cardinals. 3 of 11 for the Highlanders. Yundy made 23 saves, gave up 5 goals. They scored 3 after getting the major penalty with about 6.5 minutes left. Then an even more questionable and sportsmanlike made it 5-on-3. They scored 5-on-3, added 2 more on the major. Cardinals got 1 back, only to give up 1 on an empty net. And they lose this one 5-2. On Thursday, a knockout performance by Connor Wise. They were being outshot 45-5 after 2 periods, and they were only down 1-0. He stops 55 of the 57 shots
it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And then Rogers scores an empty net goal to seal the victory. Outshot the Cardinals 58-13. Talk about the goalie keeping them in it. On Saturday, it was senior day, and they faced Gentry Academy, and the Stars from Gentry Academy roll past the Cardinals 9-2. Dominic Espinoza and Harry Coble had the goals for the Cardinals. Dylan Pack getting his first varsity point. Connor Wise made 23 saves. Cardinals fall to 2-21 with just 2 games remaining on the regular season schedule. They host River Lakes on Tuesday, and Howie,
we'll be there.
Then they are at number 1 ranked Andover on Thursday. to wrap up the regular season schedule.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow, obviously I'm not sure what River Lake's team is like. I know they're 13-9 on the season. They don't play the competition that Coon Rapids would day in and day out. So it's an opportunity for maybe the Cardinals to get a win tomorrow night.
Got to stay out of the box.
Yeah.
And keep the pressure on the opposing team. Girls hockey team wrapped up its regular season last Wednesday with a makeup game against the Blake Bears. Blake, ranked number 5 in state, hand the Bluebirds a 5-0 loss to end their season with a record of 14-10-1.
Well, for the second year in a row, the Bluebirds section tournament ended with a heartbreaking upset that needed overtime. Saturday's game against Anoka Spring Lake Park went to 3 extra periods. Going in, the Bluebirds had as good a draw as you can get in a section where anyone and everyone has a chance. They swept the new co-op named the Stormcats in a home-and-home series during the season, but both were one-goal games, and one had to go to overtime. Now the third matchup had the season on the line. Bluebirds start the scoring just a minute into the game. Anna Bezcalo plays it back to the point. McClellan's shot hits traffic out front. Brooklyn Johnson is able to poke it past the keeper. CPCR is very early lead. We're still early in the first. Stormcats power play. Beautiful setup. Backdoor feed for the one-timer by Lindsay Albers. It's all even at 1, and it stays that way for a long time. Good goalie play at both ends, and how quickly this one turns around. Chance for the Bluebirds goes wide. Great stretch pass coming up to find Maddie Meshuggah. Behind the defense, she walks in, puts it on the shelf. Stormcats lead early into the third. Well, it goes to the final seconds. Bluebirds pull the keeper on the power play for the 6-on-4 advantage. It pays off. Shot from the point, tipped out front, poked home by Molly Terabeza with 17 seconds left in regulation. Replay shows the tip by Delaney Johnson on the doorstep. Rebound goes to Terabeza. She puts the backhander into a wide open net. It's worth a couple more looks. It's tied it up. The one for is far from over. We're going to move to the first overtime. Bluebirds flying on offense. Kylie Scott has it knocked away, but recovers and plays it out front. It's tipped up and over the net, then played out front, but they can't poke it home this time. Good chance for him there. Anoka SLP chance late in the second extra period. Puck played to Meshuggah all alone on the doorstep, but Elia Johnson makes the save. She had 47 saves in the game. Unfortunately, this one eludes her. A hold at the point and then the shot through traffic, and Johnson loses track of it, finds the back of the net. Stormcats celebrate the upset. Let's take a look at the replay. Anna Tillett, let's see up here, she's going to hold the blue line, flings it towards the net. High arcing shot that flutters all over the place, and it ends the game. An all too familiar feeling for CPCR. Tough loss for the Bluebirds.
3 years in the co-op.
Yep.
The first year they were a 5 seed, lost to Rogers in the first round. Last year, the 3 seed against number 6 Rogers, and were upset in overtime. This year, the 6 seed against 3rd seed Anoka Spring Lake Park, and they're upset in 3 overtimes. Rogers held serve on the top half, beating Centennial 3-1 to move on. They'll face Maple Grove in the semifinal on Tuesday. Blaine, the number 2 seed, will take on the up-and-coming Stormcats. So unfortunate. We were hoping maybe to see a game here on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's obviously disappointing for the squad, and we were hoping to go out to Roseville and see if we could cover that Blaine CPCR game, but unfortunately it's not to be.
Well, the wrestling team fired up for this week's Section 7 championship after adding another title to their resume with another dramatic come-from-behind win on Friday. The North Division champion Cardinals traveled to Rogers to battle the best in the West for the all-out Northwest Suburban Conference crown. Coon Rapids was a slight favorite as the number 10 ranked team in the state, but the Royals aren't far behind. They lurk in the lean and mean, and it had to go all the way to a tiebreaker to determine a winner. Royals started with 3 pins and a major decision, led 22-0 before Nick Lattery got the Cardinals on the board at 132. Good headlock to take Ryan Lund to his back. Lattery gets a pin midway through the first period. That was the first of 4 straight wins for the Cardinals. Dalen Jones gets him another 16 points after 152, pinning Caleb Klamaco in just 17 seconds. Every point absolutely critical in this one. Late third period at 170, Thomas Gilmore able to get the reversal on Zach Thomas, and that got him a 4-3 decision. Rogers was up 34-19 with 3 matches to go. 195 goes to triple overtime. Eric Ramos gets the reversal right there to score a huge 4-3 decision, and that kept the Cardinals' hopes alive. They needed pins from both of their big boys, and the big boys deliver. Riley Hargraves so good with the headlock all year, and it works for him again against Rogers. Pins his man midway through the second period, and that left it to top-ranked heavyweight Gavin Layton. He makes quick work of Cole Hamilton, forcing him to the mat in just 31 seconds. That tied the score at 34. Both teams had 7 wins, 4 pins, 1 major decision. It went to the 6th criterion for the tiebreaker, and the Cardinals are the champions of the Northwest Suburban based on first points scored.
Well, congrats to them. I mean, they really did have a nice season, and they were able to, hey, listen, you know, they've had a number of really close matches this year. I mean, we've done a couple. The one against Blaine, you know, we've the one against Anoka as well. And so they've been able to win those close ones. They win another close one by criteria.
Yeah, and it's their 14th Northwest Suburban Conference Championship. So absolutely congratulations to them. Team sections, Section 7, always one of the toughest in the state. Cardinals really feel they have a chance. If you know, again, those lower weights, they have so much strength from the middle weights to the top. They do. If the lower weights can keep it close, they've got a chance to upset. But a couple of teams in Section 7 ranked above them. They're pretty good at this time. Individual sections will be next Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Gymnastics. Want to talk some gymnastics?
We should.
Well, the Cardinals gymnastics team is getting ready for sections after wrapping up their dual meet schedule last week. The Cards have struggled a little lately, and facing a team as strong as Maple Grove wouldn't make it any easier to increase their scores. Still, they'll take all the positives they can to carry forward to the postseason. We start on the vault. Junior Reese Ireland posts the best score of the night for Coon Rapids. Even with the knee brace, able to stick the landing for an 8.475. That's 5th place against the Crimson. Senior Aaliyah Vu has been a leader for this team for several years, and it's continued on Thursday. She's shown great improvement on the bars. She takes the 6th place with a 7.575. Vu, the leader for Coon Rapids on the beam as well. This routine earns her a 7.675. Nice back somersault dismount. Vu is 3rd in the all-around with a 31.75. Nice job there. Senior Rachel Dieters had the best individual finish for the Cardinals, taking 4th place on the floor. This run part of an 8.7. Dieters was 4th in the all-around as well with a 30.575. Cardinals put up a 121.95. Maple Grove, they're over 142 points.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
And you don't expect to beat the Maple Groves, the teams that are putting up those 140s when you start the season. You look at them as teams to aspire to. The part for the Cardinals that is concerning is that they did kind of peak early in the season, hitting into that 130, and they've never been able to get back there. Now it's their last chance to shine. On Friday is the section tournament at the section championships at Forest Lake. Should anybody advance, the state tournament will be at Roy Wilkins Auditorium next Friday and Saturday. Swimming and diving team already off for their section warm up. They have a couple weeks before section. Section tournament is still Thursday, Saturday of next week. State will be the following week, last week of February. Nordic skiing and diving is not quite finished for Coon Rapids. The section tournament pursuit last week, boys finished in 3rd place, nearly got themselves that state tournament finish, not quite able to get number 2, but still very respectable in this conference. And Josh Thoen, a sophomore, is headed to state with a time of 26 minutes, 7.4 seconds combined for a 12th place overall finish, earns him a trip to state. Jared Haida in 23rd, Noah Christensen 26th, Miles Gilliard in 31st, Peyton Martinek back in 48th. On the girls' side, they haven't had the depth all year, but Abby Ellenbecker, no shock, will be going to her 4th straight state tournament. She finishes 2nd overall in the section pursuit with a time of 29 minutes, 14.1 seconds. Lila Gilliard, though, a really nice finish to her year. We talked about it last week, able to finish with a all-conference. Here does pretty well to making a top 20 at the section meet. Josie Ingvoldson, Issa Hoagland, and Akela Lowe, the next 3 Cardinal finishers. And there they are going to the state tournament. are the Cardinals. The girls freestyle at 11:30 and classical at 2:30. The boys freestyle at 12:10 and 3:30.
That's on Friday.
It is on Friday. It was originally scheduled for Thursday, but it was pushed back due to predicted sub-zero temperatures up in the Bowabic area, so they pushed it back to keep everybody safe. A little bit better racing conditions, and best of luck to the two Cardinals headed to the state tournament.
Yeah, you didn't mention anything about the diving, though. I mean, we did the skiing, but we didn't get to the diving.
Well, actually, it was the alpine skiing and diving. But I've decided to scratch the idea. It's just not going to fly.
Are you sure?
Literally.
I've been getting a lot of good feedback, positive feedback about the diving portion.
Well, the alpine skiing team finished up its season with sections last week. Boys team finished in 12th. Jacob Sides was their top finisher in 27th. Reed Smith right behind him in 28th. GN Del Frade was 57th. Nico Tweedy 77th. Van Norman was 97th. And Ryan Wild finished in 101st. On the girls' side, again, just a great thing to see them have enough to finish and post a team score.
Yep.
Something they hadn't done the last couple of seasons. Emma Bolin finished as their top finisher in 32nd place. Emily Verbeek was behind her, Sydney Vossen, then Shelby Robidoux, Hafferman, and Zoe Scheck was in 106th place. Nobody qualifying for state, unfortunately, but great to see the numbers coming out and helping grow that team to where, maybe next year, maybe the year after, may take a little while, but to grow that sport and become more competitive.
Yeah, and again, it's just continuing to compete and continue to get better, and that's what they're looking to do.
Boys basketball team still has a couple of weeks left in its season. They'll be the last ones to finish the regular season for the winter sports. Last week, they hosted Maple Grove on Tuesday, and lost to the Crimson 68-44. Taylon Elmy led the way with 12 points, 5 rebounds. Lucky Maragi had 11 points, but everybody else kept relatively quiet. A slightly easier test for the Cardinals on Thursday when they host a division and section rival Anoka. Tornadoes had won just 4 on the season, none in the conference or the section. Cardinals won the first meeting at Anoka by 10 points, so they were looking for a season sweep, and they knew the Tornadoes would make it a battle to the end. Back at fourth in the first, Tornadoes getting their leading score going early. Albert Tennell hits a three-pointer from the corner. He had 15 of his 18 points in the first half. Anoka's perimeter shooting gave them the edge in the first. This three-pointer from Jay Nyamari put them up by 4. Tornadoes had 7 three-pointers in the first half. Cardinals defense helps keep it close. Great steal by Elijah Smith goes in for the easy basket. There were 9 lead changes in the first half. Anoka gets the spark at the end, though. Final seconds, Tennell another 3 just before the buzzer gave the Tornadoes a 7-point lead at the break. Cardinals chipping away at the lead early on. Jordan Doe with a gorgeous crossover to find the lane. He was one of 4 Cardinals in double digits. Midway through the second, Cardinals take control. Great steal by Taylon Elmy. He can't get it to fall, but Lucky Maragi there to clean up their glass. Cardinals scored 14 unanswered points. Great pass right here from Jordan Doe to hit Elmy in stride for the basket. That put Coon Rapids up by 5 with 3:31 to play. Coon Rapids defense nearly comes up with another steal here, but it's knocked to Brody Lake, who hits a three-pointer to make it just a 1-point game with just over a minute left. Cardinals inbounding from under the Anoka basket. MJ Galama goes up strong for the basket and the foul. Wasn't able to convert on the three-point play, but it's just enough. And the Cardinals hold on for the 67-64 win.
It was a fun game to be a part of, and obviously it was great to see the Cards get the win. And Taylon Elmy, he's been playing so well. I mean, he's been, we'll hopefully get a chance to talk to him as the season continues. And if we get a chance to do a post-game interview again, we'll hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him too as well, because I think he's contributed so well off the bench for this squad.
7.5 minutes the defense held Elk River without a point. 7.5 minutes.
Anoka.
Held Anoka without a point.
Oh yeah, they played well, and when we talked to Coach O at the halftime, you could tell how frustrated he was, because all of a sudden Anoka went up by 7 points, and he felt they just kind of turned it over at the end and gave up that opportunity to keep the game close. But you got to give the Cards credit, able to come back, and I think they're up by 9, and then all of a sudden they went on a run and they controlled it after that.
Yeah. They are at Centennial on Wednesday, and they host Osseo on Friday.
The girls' basketball team started its week on the road, facing one of the best teams in the state. Maple Grove is ranked 8th, one of 3 Northwest suburban teams in the top 10. They're an impressive 15-2 since early December, including a 68-33 victory over Coon Rapids just before the holiday break. The Cardinals will be hard-pressed just to keep pace with the mighty Crimson. Early in the first, nearly a miscue by the Crimson turns into an open look from the corner for Jordan Lampker. She was one of 2 Maple Grove players with game-high 21 points. The Cardinals trying to take advantage of the power in the paint. Jenny and Tomboy drive dishes to Ella Georgie. She scores in close, but the Cards trail 11-5. The other hot hand for the home team is point guard Abby Schulte. Nice job creating space, knocking down a jump shot. Crimson lead up to 13. Schulte strikes again, this time Crimson working it to the post, then back to the back corner while Schulte waits to hit a 3. Maple Grove up 30-10. We're late in the half. The power players hooking up again, this time Georgie to Ntomboy in the post. She hits a nice little fadeaway jumper, but the Cards trail by 20 at the half. Ntomboy probably the Cardinals' most improved player this season. Nice work on the give and go with Georgie for more of her team high 11 points. But this one is really never in question. Crimson on cruise control through the second. Lampker straight down the middle. Almost the identical score from the first meeting, 68-32 would be the final, and a tough season for the girls basketball squad.
It has been, and much like the boys hockey team, I think they're much better than what they've shown.
I agree.
But at times in the season have been starstruck by the power that they face in this conference night in and night out. And sometimes, as you talked about during hockey, when you get down early, it's hard to bounce back.
It really is.
It's hard to stay energetic. There are some really nice pieces there, to be certain. I think Jenny and Tomboy's come a long way this year. You got Ella Georgie and Nicole Post that also have legitimate presence in the post. You've got good shooters in Sid Kerr, Macy Holland, Benny Kalala,
Kylie Hetwer.
Kylie Hetwer.
Yeah, I mean, and again, their post play, I think they've got some bigger posts than most of the teams in the conference. It's just unfortunate that they're not able to use that a little bit more and to try and build up a lead rather than trying
to
play
very
from
young.
behind.
Just
very
one
young.
senior.
Yep.
One senior.
Yep.
They host Centennial on Wednesday. They're at Osseo on Friday. So a lot of stuff to happen here. And before we go, though, we can't go without giving some acknowledgement to the 18 Cardinals who signed their commitment papers this past week to take their sports to the next level. Among them are 8 football players, 3 baseball players, 2 soccer, 2 lacrosse, 1 softball, and Howie's bid for basket weaving just missed.
Oh,
I think that's all of them. But congratulations to all of them as they move on to the next level. It does, very proud to see what kind of student athletes the school is able to produce.
Well, and I think it's been a while since we've seen those many athletes
that's a lot.
sign, and so that's great. I love to see it. And again, congrats to each and every one of you. It's a great accomplishment.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. Here's a look what we have coming up for you this week. The Coon Rapids boys hockey team taking on River Lakes, which is a combination of Ricori and about 5 other communities. That's on Tuesday live at 7 o'clock. Then boys basketball against Osseo on Valentine's Day from the barn. And then girls basketball at Andover next Tuesday. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.